Seinfeld fans know him as Jay Peterman.
Dog lovers know him as the host of the National Dog Show every Thanksgiving.
And there are people right here in Connecticut who will recognize him as a friend and neighbor because he did spend some time here in his youth.
Today, actor John O'Hurley is joining us to talk about a cause that's very important to him.
We welcome him and Philip Gatton, President and CEO of the Epilepsy Foundation. Welcome to you both.
Thank you. Wonderful to be with you in my hometown of Hartford, Connecticut.
Yes, we understand you were just at Mac's Oyster Bar. We were stalking you, but we didn't want to bother you.
Oh, I have familiar haunts. I have familiar haunts and wonderful memories of growing up in the Hartford area, as our entire family does. There is a sad note to that, though, which really brings me here today, and that was while we were living in Hartford, I lost my sister to epilepsy back when I was 16 and she was 17. She was at her last day of school there at Northwest Catholic. And she had a grand mal seizure and did not recover. My dad couldn't resuscitate her, so changed the dynamics of our family living in the community as well there. But in her passing, I always wanted to do what I could to become a voice, and so I partnered with the Epilepsy Foundation, and I've become the spokesman, and we're working on a national campaign across the country now to bring awareness to epilepsy, but also, more fundamentally, to bring the principles of seizure first aid, because when you watch someone having a seizure, it's a very upsetting thing. And within the sound of our voice, someone will have one today or someone will witness one. So I want to give you 3 simple principles of first aid. First, it's called stay, safe and side. You stay with the person who's having the seizure to make sure that they are comfortable and not in harm's way. And that's the word safe. Put something under their head. Allow that convulsion to happen. In most cases, they will recover after a couple of minutes. It's like the brain. It's like the computer in the brain all of a sudden shuts down, but it will reboot. So keep them safe and then side. Turn them onto their side so that it keeps the airway open so that they're not aspirating any liquids down the trachea. If you remember those 3 principles, we have done a big thing towards helping people that do have seizures.
John, I know your father was a physician, and even for him, it was something that he couldn't handle on his own right there. And Phil, I'm wondering, has anything changed as far as our war against epilepsy and being able to maybe help more people?
Well, that's a wonderful question. When my sister had epilepsy back in 1970, when she passed, there were only 2 medications available to her, which was phenobarbital, which was discovered back in the Civil War days, Dilantin, which was in the early 1900s. That was it. Those were the 2 choices of medication. Today, I can count more than 30 different medications that help manage seizures, and there's also new surgical procedures. There are new programs in diet that seem to be helping as well. So we are trying to encourage as much light shed on what is the darkest area of medicine today, and that is the neurological disorders. People who have epilepsy are normal. They just happen to have epilepsy. They can live normal lives if they are able to control their seizures, and that is the goal.
And Philip, can you talk to us about the impacts on family members of someone who's living with someone with epilepsy?
Sure. For 3.4 million families, the whole family is fighting epilepsy together, and it can have a profound impact on siblings. Our oldest son, Phil, started having seizures when he was 4, and he's now 32, and he experienced thousands of seizures in his life, and with that, so did his 2 brothers and his sister. And not only can it really affect a typical family life experience, you know, you're thinking about going to the ball game and your sibling has a seizure and that schedule just changed. So there are a lot of different things that happen, but I've seen some positive changes as well. There's been, I think, an increase in compassion and understanding others, and really having a sense of empathy in our children, the siblings of Philip. And I will say this, for 3.4 million families, they're counting on all of us to help raise awareness to end epilepsy. And I think using our brains together to end epilepsy can really help end discrimination, end the treatment gap. There are wonderful epilepsy centers right in your viewing area, and they can find out how to get access to those by connecting with our Epilepsy Foundation partners. We have a great team in Connecticut. They're there to help, and we have our teammates all around the country able to help. And if you want to get involved, there are several ways to do so. You can start by just looking at endepilepsy.org to learn more. And I did have to say thank you to John O'Hurley, because using his name, his fame in this way is really changing so many lives. And we're just so grateful to John and to our entire nationwide team for their efforts. We're going to be able to really change the future for so many families through this Let's Use Our Brains to End Epilepsy campaign.
John, I know you went to Kingswood Oxford School, and I'm thinking, you know, as kids we learn all kinds of things, the Heimlich maneuver, how to take care of kids and babies. Is this something that everybody should be educated about, how to help someone who might have a seizure?
As I say, it's so common. Someone within our viewing audience right now will have one, or someone will see one. It is simply stay safe inside. Stay with them. Keep them safe, turn them on their side so that they don't aspirate. If you can remember those simple principles, then we have accomplished so much.
Thank you so much to the both of you for being here. We wish you continued success.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And for more information on epilepsy, you can head to endepilepsy.org. I know I visited the epilepsy center that they developed at Hartford Hospital. They've got a lot of new advances there.
All right.